Okay, 7 o'clock, so we're gonna call to order the September 4th meeting of the Wabash County Plan Commission. First would be the roll call. Sorry.
Randy Curlis,
Here.
Jeff Dawes,
Here.
Sam Hand,
Here.
Chris Hickman,
Here.
Mark Mylan, Doug Rice, Mike Bruce,
Here.
Jeff Shorkin,
Here.
Sherry Sleep. Here. He didn't come out. Joe Vogel.
Here.
Okay, we have a forum.
Okay. Next up, we have approval of minutes, but I was told that we were given the wrong minutes. So we're gonna hold off the approval until
I think
next.
we sent you the previous month's minutes. Sherry caught it and came over and told us and. So, since everybody didn't have those, we only had one item on the agenda, so if anybody, a new item anyway, so, I don't think it's gonna be a huge deal, but, hopefully we can wait till next month for that.
Okay, well, first up on the agenda would be old business. We got an unsafe premise order, 25 Bill Perch Drive, Mary Chandler.
Yeah, so if anybody's been by there, that structure and the property has been totally cleaned and down to topsoil. I did talk to Chuck, who we awarded the contract for the cleanup of that. He wants to wait a couple more weeks before he seeds it because it's been so dry. And I said, we might as well. I don't want you to spend a lot of, he lives not even a quarter mile from there. She said, I can run over here and do this anytime. So he didn't have a problem with it. I didn't see an issue with it, but it's just been so dry. I didn't want to waste grass seed going to doing that and not having it rain for a couple of weeks. And so other than that, he's actually put in his request for payment and it's been paid. So, I mean, it's done and cleaned up and we haven't heard any negative feedback from anybody so we're hoping everything is good with all the neighbors now and it's been cleaned up, so.
Okay. Next,
Yeah, Mark, do we need a motion for that no, for the unsafe premise order?
No, it's just a review essentially.
Okay,
I wouldn't really close it or terminate it
Right.
until everything is done. I was gonna do, so wait till the seating is done.
and the seating's the only thing that's left, so, okay.
next is ordinance review.
So in your packet, you should see a page just past the first page. It says ordinance review summary. In between everything else, Jennifer has been going through and changing all of our. This is pretty much section 5 of our ordinance. And the way we're looking at everything, it looks like we're just trying to condense everything on the one page rather than having 3 different pages for every single district. It just is confusing. So she's put into place those and changed those for every single district and has a diagram of each one of them with the new way we would sort of like to take a look at it. And then we have the on the next page, there's a big sort of a spreadsheet of stuff. These are things that we have looked at and Jennifer, you don't, so the black is what we have now. The red is stuff that we would like to see either changed or taken off or added to when it comes to every single one of these. There's not a huge amount of stuff in the first section for the top zoning districts for different things up here. Once you get down to the lower section, there's some changes that we would like to see, and most of those are due to we've seen in the last 2 years probably record numbers of variances requested. And most of those variance requests, if you go back and look, are because of setback requirements. And when you look at those setback requirements, a majority of them are in residential zones. So the ordinance was put in place, it looks like, for the most part, sort of across the board, 13-foot side yard setbacks, aggregates of 26 feet. Well, you can't do that in Rowan, you can't do that in a Fountain, you can't do that when you have 50-foot wide lots. And, somebody wants to put a shed on their property, they can't put a shed on their property without a variance. Even if they have the space, they can't because their neighbor has a shed that's, 2 feet from the property line. So it's an issue that we see that no matter what, we're seeing more and more people have to come. I mean, Joe, you're on it, you see, we do it almost every month. We've had to. We have multiple, so we had to date this year, we've had 33 variances. All last year we had 49, so we're 16 away from the same amount from last year. So we keep seeing the same thing though. It's all about setback requirements. It's either the roadway setbacks or it's side yard setbacks for the most part. For everything in the aggregate distances. We understand the reason for it. We just think maybe we should lessen those in the residential zones where we have tighter grouped housing. And not so, a lot of this is for 1.5 acre lots out in the county. Where you've got plenty of room to stay 13 foot off your property. You don't have that luxury when you have a 50-foot wide lot in town. If you want to put a garage on your property, it's about impossible to do it without a variance. So those were some of the things we were looking at to say, okay, can we go back to maybe instead of 13 foot, 10 foot, 6 foot, something like that in those zones, just those residential zones. If you're in the county, you're in Ag 1, Ag 2 zones, things like that. Then yeah, we keep the same thing because I think those are working pretty good. Now, the other part of those are the primary and secondary roadway setbacks for the fronts, where you have a home that's been there for 150 years, that's only 50 feet off the center of the road, and you're on a primary road that says you have to have a 95-foot setback, so people can't even put a deck on the back of their house because they're within the 95-foot setback, and it's just not fair. I mean, they're not getting any closer to the roadway setback, so why? Obviously they are because it's 95 foot, but nobody's going to see it. It's not going to hurt anything. And I know there's stuff in the ordinance that says you can do it along a side yard, but it doesn't say anything about the front. So in those cases, can we say we want to put just a note in here more or less that just says you can't be any closer to the roadway than what the roadway than what the house or the current structure is, or the current structure closest to the road already. That's going to alleviate. I don't know how many that would alleviate, but Joe, you've seen them. I mean, we had somebody in here that had a house, had a little jog in it over to the garage, and they put a deck in that corner right there, or wanted to put a deck in it, and they couldn't because the front of their house is, within the 95-foot setback. What's it hurting? To me, that's one of those common sense things, I guess, that maybe we should just take a look at and see and review.
Is Banning gonna make a recommendation?
They already have.
Okay,
Oh, we've been working with their recommendations. That's what Jennifer's been doing. She's been taking our stuff that we've reviewed and gotten feedback from, plus their stuff, and we're reviewing all of that. And that's what these changes are.
okay,
A lot of these changes are exactly that. Now, the hard part was we wanted to totally pretty much change chapter 5 and reduce it to 1 page, so it's just easier to read rather than the 3 pages that we had everything on for every single district. And so that's taken her some time to go through that in between everything else we do on a daily basis. So we're trying to get that done. And I think once we get through some of those bigger sections where we have a lot more information, it's going to go smoother to get done through the end. So we're on chapter 6 now, you move on.
Chapter 6, because it kind of coincides with chapter 5,
Yeah.
rather than starting at the beginning and working through, try to get the parts that have the most problem children.
And some of them are gonna be pretty, simple to deal with. I mean, you've got chapter 11, it's the CAFO stuff. There are some changes that we'd like to see in there, just wording, most of it's wording stuff. But then you've got wind and solar and all, most of that's not gonna change. Those are separate ordinances that we've just incorporated into this. So we don't see a lot of changes on some of this stuff moving to the end. But they're, I think the CAFOs in chapter 5 were probably our 2 biggest things that we saw that we needed to at least address some of the communication in it. in some of the wording, so,
Brian,
yes.
what's FP?
Floodplain,
Okay,
Yeah.
what's FRC?
forest, recreation, and
Okay.
conservation.
Okay,
And FP in our current ordinance, it's literally one page that just says,
okay,
you have to follow the state guidelines.
that
It's
makes
not,
sense.
yeah, it's
I
not really a
just
zoning district, so I
wasn't
wanna
sure.
take it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not really sure why that was put in there, because it's really not a zoning district, we don't see it.
Right.
I mean, it's anywhere where the state would say it's a floodplain, well, that changes every day. Every time they update their maps, on virtually a monthly or daily basis, that changes, so. To have that in there separately and just to make a statement that says you have to follow the state rules. I say that every day to anybody that wants to put anything in a flood zone, so.
Yeah.
There's no real reason to have a separate, item for that in
Okay.
there. But
On the second page, I assume bottom page, Ag 1, minimum lot size in red is 5 acres. And you're 1.5 on Ag 1 above.
It's currently set at an acre and a half minimum parcel size in Ag One district. We've kind of talked about it a little bit and have considered changing that to a minimum parcel size of 5 acres. Because again, it's to protect the farm ground. We don't want people just parceling off 1.5 acre sections for.
But then the other thing to that is, aren't they better taking 1.5 acres than taking another 3.5 and they can't mow it and, or it's more to mow, it just grows up. And, if we're preserving it, why don't we stick to the 1.5?
And these are just suggestions, because we've reviewed other counties, believe it or not, there's other counties that would say, if you're in an ag zone, you have to have a minimum of like 7 acres. There's one of them that's like
10 or 15.
10, yeah, some of them are 10 or 15.
Ludicrous.
Yeah.
Because
North, I think it's 15.
Yeah. You can't parcel off anything less than that for any reason. It's like, so we just threw that out. That's why all this is in red. These are talking stuff we want to review and look at and say, do we want to keep it the same or do we want to change it?
Yeah.
There's nothing that says we can't keep it exactly the way it is, and
Just my thought, not saying it's right.
we changed a lot of stuff in the ordinance too, due to the fact that we were told that the health department was changing their rules and regulations on septic systems. The state has now stripped their ordinance from them, and now they pretty much can't tell anybody no matter what this lot size is.
Oh.
That's why I talked to Chris, and he says there's not much he can do about it. Until the state either gives them an ordinance or they come up with an ordinance that the state is willing to run with. The acre and a half now that we have, that we put into place instead of the acre, is sort of a mute point. So it's been frustrating for us too, because we're like, I thought that was, one of the main points of making that an acre and a half was to do that. So we thought, well, if this is the case, do we do something different with the Ag 1 ground? And that's the only one that we really took a hard look at. Ag 2, all those are with sewer,
Yeah, the Ag 2 sewer up to
Sewer.
an acre and a half from the half acre.
half acre, yeah,
And then the FRC, some 1.5 to 5.
5. In the FRC again is, there's not too many areas with that, but it's gonna be somewhere around the lake. That you're gonna see those for the most part. And with that too, there's language in there, believe it or not, in the table of permitted uses. We can't even find where you can have a park in an FRC zone, but that's the whole point of an FRC zone. So, believe me, we've been looking at this going, wait a minute, there's some of the stuff that just needs to be reviewed and looked at. It wasn't just something that was missed or something like that. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense to us. It's not as far as that goes, it's not in the table of permitted uses to have a park in an FRC zone. So even though that's sort of the whole point of having an FRC zone is for recreational use and forest and recreational use. So
Okay, is that ground state owned or
No.
is it private?
it's all private.
So a woods classifies as, a woods, 20-acre woods, is that,
No,
No.
so let me sort of show you. So here's the zoning. Zoom in here if it'll turn on.
okay,
So see around the reservoir, a
yeah,
lot of this property outside the reservoir is FRC. It's
Okay,
not owned by the federal government. That, well, of course, I picked one it is.
that's floodway.
No, it's just forest reserve and conservation area.
Okay,
They want it, they more or less, that's the areas that you want to keep in the forest and sort of keep close. And most of them are always around the lakes. That's why I picked this area.
okay,
But that's what, some of this area is for that. But the weird thing is, like I said, in our table of permitted uses, it doesn't really go along with what we would consider, the forest reserve stuff. So there's just a few things like that we found that, maybe we just need to take a look at and see.
okay.
And that's just one of them, so. But it'll be comprehensive just like this. So anything we change, we're gonna do exactly like this. We'll put it in red. We'll give everybody copies of what we're looking at. And we'll try to start working through it and see what we can come up with as far as any changes go that we want to review, so. But so far, this is just some of the stuff we've looked at.
And I welcome any and all comments at any point in time to help.
We go through it and debate it in the office, and then anything else we would love to hear. She's always going, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? So believe me, we go back and forth with a lot of stuff and take a look at it, review it, and then go through the ordinance and check it and make sure that we're making a decent decision as to whether or not we want to bring it to the board and make any changes, or whether or not we think it's appropriate for the use that's already there, or the ordinance that's already put in place.
Brian,
Yes.
going back to that ag one zone, the minimum lot size, the scorecard that we have right now. I mean, the reason we have that scorecard is to, check certain boxes to protect the ag one zone.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes.
So by changing that minimum lot size, would it even do anything? If we had the scorecard in place.
Lisa, would it be? I think the score. The larger the parcel size, the more point, or that's the less points you get.
If it's up to people.
Yeah, I think it's up to 20. There's different scores for that. So you could go 0 to 5 acres is 1 point, 5 to 20 acres is 2 points, or vice versa, I
Yeah, I
think.
can't remember what they are off the top of my
Okay.
head.
We have that on a separate, file, so we would have to take a look at that and see.
Yeah.
But it does make a difference. The acreage of the planned development or the planned use of that property does make a huge difference. In the scoring. It could be anywhere between 0 and 4 points, which could, if you've got, you need 15 points and you're at 12, and you don't get enough points because of the lot size alone. It could make that difference.
I ran one the other day, got 14 points. You need 15. So that could affect it, depending.
Yeah, depending on the lot size and the proposed lot size that we would say yes or no for. So that's something we can take a look at and judge it against those and see if it's appropriate for the change or not. We'll take a look at it. Any other questions? Like Jennifer said, we would love to have any comments or questions or anything like that. If you've seen anything, or if you've checked anything out in the first, 6 chapters of the ordinance so far that we're reviewing, or any others for that matter, we'll make notes and start to make the changes when we get to them.
Real quick, what's FRC?
That's the Forest Reserve,
Forest recreation.
Recreation and Conservation. That's what this is, that's up on the
Okay.
screen in the blue.
And then RL,
That's residential lake 1.
lake, I
Or
got you, I
residential
got you.
lake.
Yes.
So it's RL1, RL2, and then there's RL1, RL2 lakefront. So there's 4 different districts right there with the RL1 and RL2,
Okay.
and there's RL1, RL2 lakefront.
Thank you.
Okay, next up under old business, the last we have is unsafe premise order, Ezra and Loretta Gall. 140 West Sim Street, Serbia.
Yes, and I think everybody should have pictures. Bill, you're here. You're here for that?
I don't have pictures.
Right, I took pictures, I've got pictures.
Pictures.
So everybody could see in the the pictures there should be one that says, there are two pictures, say 8/27/2025. As you can see, the last time I was there before this, the frame was still there. They've got the chassis was still there. They've got all that done and taken out. The only thing that's there now is a few piles of stuff, and it looks like recycling.
An iron pile.
Yeah.
An aluminum pile,
Yep.
and I got some wood piled up.
And then some concrete blocks. I saw,
Cement blocks, there's a
Yep.
guy that wants those blocks,
okay,
and that metal shed, there's a guy that wants that,
okay,
and other than that, basically everything's cleaned up. Except for, we cut some trees down. And some underbrush, and I got a little bit in the corner yet. But other than that, everything's cleaned up.
I got no problem with what's there and what's been done. It's obvious that what's there that's left is for recycling stuff, and it's piled neatly in the corner, and everything else has been cleaned up to what I would think is satisfactory to me, so.
The boys are gonna help me when they get a day out of school. Help them get rid of those piles of iron and aluminum.
Yeah, I could tell that's what it was. That's why I took just one picture of it, and then I took a picture of the rest of the stuff. Just to let you know that that is what I would have considered just a recycle piles for everything, so. Other than that, the rest of everything else has been totally cleaned up, so. And Mark, that was an unsafe premise, so is that something the same thing? We just,
Yeah, you can wait until all the piles have been removed and then essentially close the violation or
I could check again next week or two and check it out, but I don't think we need to drag him back in here for anything.
No,
I would hope
good
we
job,
don't.
sir.
Yeah,
Do what now?
Good job cleaning it up.
It was. Randy's the one, he ran the, skid motor.
Yeah. Well,
Grandpa
thank
was
you,
trying to drive one.
thank you.
yeah, but I think everything looks fine to me. I don't see a reason to have to come back to us. The only reason would be if they don't get rid of the piles and stuff like that, but I think that's the whole reason for, keeping them separate like that, so. At this point in time, I don't know why we can't, just let them know we don't need to have them back in here for anything and. Be done, more or less done with it, and I'll keep monitoring just to make sure the piles get moved, so. If they don't for some reason next month or so, I'll let the board know, and if you want to, that'd be your choice to bring them back in and talk to
Just
them about it.
if it's done by next month, we're putting it up and we'll just officially close it.
Okay, that's totally fine with me. Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
Good job. Thank you.
Okay, next,
Are we ready to have that?
Yeah.
Do we gotta come back next month or?
No,
no,
Okay, thank you.
okay, next we move into new business. Unsafe premise order, William and Money Craft. 535 East Pike Street in Rowan.
Yes, and so this is one we sent out. They had some issues with a roof, as you can see on that. I drove by Wednesday. They had taken the old roof, stripped it of all the shingles, put new sheeting in place of some areas that looked like it might needed it, and then put paper over the top of that. They are putting a metal roof on it. It was not being worked on yet when I was there, but he said he was going to be working on it. He's been in constant contact with us since we did, but when we put this unsafe premise order out, we hadn't heard from him, so that's why we sent them the notification to come in. Is the crash here at all? Oh, you are? Okay. But they've been in constant contact with us about everything. As far as I can tell, they're working on it, and everything seems to be okay. The actual trailer that's there in the bottom picture is not yours, right? That's the neighbor's.
Yeah, no.
That's the neighbor next door who we have filed an unsafe, well, we filed a zoning violation against him and been in court multiple times about that with Mark. So that's a whole nother issue that we're dealing with separately from this. But for the most part, he's kept the lot pretty clean, mowed, and has been in contact with us about everything. So you know, right now, I think we're good to not have to bring him back in. I've got his phone number. If we have any questions, we can call him, and I've been, you know, pretty much checking in on the site, so. If the board's okay with it, we'll just keep it monitoring like I normally would. And not ask him to come back in for any reason for this, unless we have any other issues.
All good name.
We're good. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for doing that.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, next up, we have, Timothy Eviston, the Grove Township requests to build a pond.
Yep. So property address 5135. East 400 South. It's not even showing up. It is. Well, I'm not sure where it's at. Come on. There it is. So here's the property. Let me get rid of that stuff. This is the area. This 4.12 acres. Wanting to build a pond here, and the reason for the pond is because you want to put a pole barn up.
Yes, yeah, we're gonna use each gonna use the dirt for the building pad, so it's either that or they haul in stone, the pad, there's a little bit of a bowl right there, and so it's gonna take some material.
They got approval, Jerry, right?
It's a favorable recommendation.
It's a favorable recommendation. We don't have the minutes yet.
No address.
Just fine, or normally we would put that in here, but we don't have those yet. They have not been approved. They will require a variance. Obviously, because the lot is so skinny, 105 feet either side of that, for setback requirements from the center of the road and the south property line. You know, where it's gonna sit right in this area.
Yeah. Sit right here, Brian.
Is it right there?
Yep,
Okay.
yeah, there's,
Yeah, that's right. There was a fence in there, wasn't there?
yeah, there's a fence and there's a lot.
Right there's the fence. You
Yeah.
can see the fence right there.
Yep, yes, sir.
Okay. And everybody should have in their packet for that. And Eads is building it.
Yes, got it.
He's done 100 of them. We didn't see any issues with it. The setback area and where they're at, obviously, because it's within 150 feet of the road, the ordinance says he has to build a berm in front of between the road and the pond to make sure that nobody can drive a vehicle into it. So he's gonna have to have a berm length of the pond. And we've gone over all that with him, so.
I think Scotty's aware of all.
Oh, yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Randy Curlis,
Yes.
Jeff Dawes,
Yes.
Sam Hen,
Yes.
Chris Hickman,
Yes.
Mike Bruce,
Yes.
Sherry Slee,
Yes.
Joe Vogel.
Yes.
So we'll be in touch about the
The
BZA.
BZA meeting on 23rd. Yep.
23rd. Thank y'all, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is staff reports, monthly report.
Yeah, so we have, we slipped in here, on the agenda, the approved budget. So we did get the approved budget back from, council. The only change that we could see would be for the assistant director's pay. Was a little more added to it than what was requested by the PAC, I think. So that was the only change that we saw directly from anything that we had requested that was approved by the committee before. So nothing else had changed as far as what's been approved. And then we have the regular monthly reports that we normally give you, that have the permit activity and the financials and anything that has to do with the unsafe premise funds and things like that, so, just information purposes, just staff report stuff, we wanted to give you, the information on. If anybody has any questions, we'll be. Oh. Yeah, so the miscellaneous income over on the sort of the right, top right side, it says miscellaneous income source and it says Kowalcha. So that was one piece of property, I think, in LaGrove that had, the planning commission had asked for the house to be raised. So their balance, their current balance of what they owe is only $926.98. That we see that is still due on that now. I don't know if that includes any fees or not.
That's what was on the paperwork that I received with this one's payment. Whatever came with the check from your office.
In my office?
Well, that's where we get the check from.
I'll double check, that doesn't sound right.
It didn't sound right to me, but that's what it said, remaining balance. I can show it to you after the meeting.
No, just, if you can email me tomorrow, I will double check, that does not sound right.
Okay.
Cause I thought it was like a extra $12,000 judgment or something
Well,
last year. For the demolition fees. I'll double check it tomorrow.
okay.
Probably something Steve is.
Fudging number to me.
But everything else is pretty normal standard stuff, and then the charts on the back just sort of show you the variances and year-to-date stuff between 2024 and 2025, just so you sort of get an idea of where we're at with everything. As far as also the permit income, information and things like that, so. And I know we had some big ticket items last year, about this time, I think, that sort of blew our budget to different numbers because we had 2 or 3 big items that were, $500, $600, $700 permits, fees, and we had 2 or 3 of them all at once, so that really skews your numbers when most of your permits are only $15-25 a piece. And you get a couple for $700-800, so, it makes a big difference, but,
I do have 2 applicants that I'm waiting on payment from. One is well over $800 permit total, and the other one is probably gonna be relatively close. So once they pay,
the gap's too close.
yeah,
The Kowalska 393 there, that's the LaGrove property that we cleaned up. That means he's paid that,
yeah, that's what he paid
so,
in the, for August.
okay,
Yeah,
so we don't know if that's cleaned up yet or not. Zero balance.
No, it's,
Uh,
the property is cleaned up, so we got a judgment.
No, I meant, did he pay back what we,
not everything, no.
That's what I'm double checking. So we got a judgment, I just checked the demolition cost was 15,000, we got another judgment against him for that, and we're garnishing his wages to be repaid that. I think
Okay.
We only got that last year,
Oh, was it?
yeah,
so.
Okay.
it was just before you started.
Yeah, and this is the monthly income, so we've got $393 for this month.
So he is paying.
Yeah.
926 still outstanding, right?
Well, that's what we show, but that's what Mark's checking on,
Yeah,
so.
we got the new judgment April of last year, and so at $300 a month for, at 15,000, I'd
Okay,
be surprised unless there was some big
Okay.
payment.
Yeah,
that we-
this was the lowest month payment that he's done. Most of them have been 1,500-ish. a month.
Okay, so maybe then,
So-
maybe it's close.
so, did that property sell, or is he still on that?
I can check.
I was curious.
No, he still owns it.
Okay, okay. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, since 2016.
You know, when we have a meeting next month, you want us to bring these packets back, don't you? Or do you want to collect them?
No, we don't
For
need to
carbon.
collect anything for the carbon stuff, no.
We'll
And if
bring
you-
these back.
Yeah,
Yes,
yes.
yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm at. it'd be nice to take them home and read them a little bit and stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's what they're for.
I don't want you printing off.
As of June 30th, Mark, he had paid, $6,389 from January 1st to June 30th.
I'll double check everything. Maybe we got it charged for the middle of last year, so he's probably put a decent amount, so you
Yeah,
might
be
beat those.
close.
I was assuming it was gonna take a long time to hit.
And then complaint updates, so, right now on the complaints, unless anybody has questions about anything else on there, no. Okay, open active right now, I had 35, 12 of them with legal, 2 unsafe premise, total open right now is 49. 16 of them on our monitor list. We rolled over 59 of them, from last year. 32 of them are new in 2025, and we've closed a total of 26. We do have reassessments also, so we've sort of tallied those separately. And we had 23 of those rolled over from 2024 to this year because a lot of that was done at the end of last year, and we just didn't get those completed and done before the first of the year. Total received so far this year was 47. I think we had 77 of them total last year. And so only 23 of those were rolled over. And we only have 2 of those still open this year. So we've closed all but 2 of the ones from last year. And 2025, we only have 16 of them open, so only 18 of them. So we've closed a total of 52 of those since the first of the year. So those reassessments are just, somebody put a shed up, the reassessment team found it. They didn't get a permit for it. They came in, get their permit. So for the most part, those are pretty cut and dry unless they've had issues with the placement of where they put them. And we have to ask them to come in for a variance or something. And we've had a couple of them that have done that and taken care of them. So, but other than that, for the most part, we're doing pretty good trying to keep up with those. So we're getting used to it, I guess, because last year we got hit hard right at near the end of the year. And then we're trying to play catch up the rest of the time. And it's getting a little easier dealing with them now. So, because some of them we find in, they put a deck on the property and we find out that was 2 owners ago. Like, okay, do we want to make the current owner pay the $10, for the deck, or do we just say we're going to waive the fee, just take care of the permit, get in here and take care of the permit and give you a permit for it? If they're willing to do it, we've been, we'll take your, $9.60 or whatever it is for your deck and move on. We've not been pushing them too hard for it. We just want everybody to be in compliance. So we've tried to really, more or less, this is a lot of it's been educational stuff, explaining everything and the reasons why, because we get a lot of people upset about it. You were on my property, and no, it wasn't me, it was the assessment team. But here's the reason why, and most everybody understands what's happening there. So we've been pretty good about keeping up with it. So that's all I have.
Any board member have anything to bring before the meeting tonight? How about the public? Do we have anything to bring up before the board? If not, I could. Okay, motion.
Good, whatever.
Get out of here. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Joe wants to go watch some football, huh?
No, I want to do the rest of it.
Oh.